Sam from Road Trail Run here. I want to give you my first impressions after a run and all the details on the Saucony Triumph 17. Well, the first thing you'll say is, wait a minute, wasn't the Triumph ISO 5 the last version? Yes, indeed it was. And what you'll see is the ISOFIT bands are now gone, replaced with some nice overlays. That's the first thing. The second thing you'll wonder about is the midsole. Well, back here with the ISO 5, we had Everun, a TPU midsole, whereas now we have Saucony's new PWRUN Plus, also a TPU midsole, but quite different, as it's a TPU bead, a bit like Boost, that's heated up. And you can in fact see the little beads that get heated up. So Saucony says the PWRUN Plus is 3 times more resistant to temperature changes, 2 times more flexible, 25% lighter, and 5% more shock absorbing than their last best foam. But they don't say if that's Everun or one of their other foams. So clearly the shoe is very flexible. I'll show you how that looks. Very flexible right out of the box. I haven't run them yet. And over here you can see the ISO 5 quite stiff. Also, the outsole changes. Yes, we still have crystal rubber, the pinkish color, but now we only have it up in the front, and you can see they're a better kind of arrangement of flex grooves. So the upper, now let's talk about the upper. Well, the upper is a beautiful engineered mesh. It's very soft. One thing that's really notable is this heel construction, this heel counter. The foam here is very soft. Of course, you have a nice heel counter, regular heel counter. I tried them on. I've been walking around in them, and it's actually kind of stretchy, this molded collar, and it fits just beautifully, very softly, but very securely. Now, over on our predecessor shoe, and in the predecessor, I was sent a half size up. The mesh is a little stiffer, a little thicker feeling than here. Here it's just very soft. What I did note just walking around is, and understanding this is a half size up, that the ISO 5 does seem roomier overall, particularly right here in the midfoot. Here I feel a really good hold, whereas here it was a bit sloppy. And that part of that is maybe those ISOFIT bands. I never really much cared for them. Here we have a really good wrap. Back to that outsole, so we have the crystal rubber, we have high durability carbon rubber in the front and in the heel. We have a beveled landing, we have some reflectivity. Here's that soft collar. The tongue is soft. It is still a booty construction. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out and run them, one on each foot, and I'll report back how they feel, what the differences might be. My sense is we're going to have a bouncier, more lively ride here. I found the ISO 5 to be kind of definitely responsive, but kind of stiff and firm, not the most pleasant of rides. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this new premium shoe runs. Now, some of the stats, very important here. The shoe loses 0.8 ounces compared to the ISO 5. So it should come in a little, maybe a touch under 10.5 ounces or 297 grams, whereas our ISO 5 was 11.3 ounces, 320 grams. So that's a 23 gram drop. As far as the stack, kind of interesting. They're very close, despite the weight loss. This new PWRUN foam does seem to be lighter, and of course the upper's lighter, but it appears the ISO 5 is about 32 millimeters at the heel, 24 at the forefoot, whereas over here on our Triumph 17, I'm seeing 33.5 at the heel, 25.5 at the forefoot. So you might get a touch more cushioning. The price also drops. We're going down to 150, still a pricey shoe, from 160. So that's welcome. So I'm going to take them out now and I'll report back how they actually run. See you in a bit. Beautiful evening here in York, Maine. I'm out on the dock, paddle dock, see the boats and the famous Whitley Bridge. So let's talk about how the Triumph 17 feels on the run. Well, first, it is bouncy. Not super bouncy like Adidas Boost. It's a bit more controlled. It's a very smooth kind of feel with the outsole playing very nicely with the midsole. I noticed especially the flexibility of that forefoot. Really moves along nicely. I definitely feel that it's more flexible than the ISO 5, which feels kind of firm and stiff up front, maybe a touch more, quote, responsive, but definitely a bit of a harsher feel to the forefoot. Whereas here, we're super smooth with plenty of rebound. The upper, well, it's 8.5, which is my true to size, whereas over here on the ISO 5, I'm in a 9, half size up. Usually a half size up is no issue for me. However, I am swimming around in this upper. It's adequate, but it's definitely very roomy. Whereas here on our Triumph 17, I'm fitting just about perfectly. The hold is soft, it's gentle but very secure, particularly right in here as I felt just wearing them around. This very plush heel collar system. You might say, oh, it's too much. Well, it's sort of stretchy and it molds very well. So it's not only super comfortable, but very secure. It's not a lockdown race shoe kind of feel, but it's definitely a secure fit. Another thing I noticed is the toe bumper is about the same as on the ISO 5, but on the ISO 5 I kind of felt, because of the denser upper, kind of scratchier upper, I kind of noticed the front of the toe a little bit in the way, much more so than here. Now, we're going to have a full multi-tester review. Many of us are going to run it, so there'll be lots of comparisons, but feels like this shoe might be aimed straight at the glycerin. It's a similar soft, flexible ride, but here it's a bouncier one. We'll have to compare uppers more closely. It's also clearly aimed at some of the more recent Adidas Boost shoes, and we'll compare those as well. Overall, only a few miles in, I'm super pleased with what Saucony has done here. They've made their premium neutral trainer lighter by 1/8 of an ounce, less expensive by $10, more flexible, and this new TPU foam, which, if I may remind you, was also in the ISO 5, but it was a different kind of TPU, kind of dense. This is much bouncier, and you can see the grains. So it's made from molded, from bits that are pellets that are heated and compressed. So very excited about this shoe. It's coming November 1st. Stay tuned for our multi-tester review at roadtrailrun.com, and I thank you very much for watching all the way here from York, Maine.